Ugh. Okay. Second time's a charm? Second. Maybe. Maybe. Oh god, my hair still looks like crap. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Ah, frustrating. And yes, I am asthmatic and I have a bad cough a lot of the time. So it's always fun to deal with that. Yeehaw! So, anyways, I am back and I am back. Let's try this for the second time. Yay! Ugh. I really don't understand why my hair is looking so bad. Because, like, it shouldn't be. My hair should look a lot better than this. Can I fix it at all? Maybe try this hairbrush. Oh, where is my hairbrush? Anyways, hi, what's up? Sorry, I am very distracted because my hair looks like crap. I just realized that it did. As I was about to go live, I'm like, shoot! Shoot, 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 shoot. But hopefully everybody in the chat, which there's only currently one person, is doing well. We're doing like a, take 2 on this live because it kind of got derailed earlier, so... And will this be long? No. I didn't even get through what I wanted to talk about in the last live. So, context. I am potentially selling the 82 Mustang. Actually, highly likely that I'm going to sell that car. It's a nice car, but I just don't have motivation for it anymore. And so the money, though, will go to a good cause because it'll go to, well, partially to pay for bills and stuff like that, but then partially also to like pay for mods done to Stitch. So as an example, the header getting modified, it'll pay for that. It might even pay for like the turbo swap in the future. It's going to pay for, let's see, what else could that pay for? It'll pay for like head work being done. And now, and this is the one thing that I am debating on, very much debating on, because. Okay, so what I could end up doing, and this is actually potentially likely, because I had an idea, then I realized, wait, this other way seems a lot better. Basically, I was thinking about road tripping Stitch to there and getting the work done when I'm at their shop potentially. Because again, it's a professional shop that they're actually going to be moving to Jasper. They are currently near Spruce Grove, if I'm not mistaken, or no, I think they were at Entwistle, which is like the middle of nowhere. And now they're moving to Jasper, which fair enough. I initially thought, hey, let's take Stitch, you know, there and do that. But then, well, I might actually take Hail Mary instead out to their shop. And he can see the car because the guy that wants to buy it is there. So he can look at it, and then the beauty of it is that if he wants to, he can pay me then, and then we can figure out of how to get my ass back to get my butt back here. Also, hi, Bill. How's it going? But yeah, so that's kind of an idea that way. Or it's a potential that he can pay me for the car, and then I can. Ooh, how's this gonna work? So he can maybe pay me for the car. Like I drive out there once, and then basically, okay, Saber, you have food. Stop trying to dig around and stuff, because I haven't taken out that thing. Also, I said hi, Bill. I said hi. How's it going? But yeah. So, anyways, because with his permission, I would potentially like to sell the car to him, but then drive it back here and then wait for my dad to come back, and then once he's back from his next rotation of work, me and him can take a trip out to Jasper together. That way, like he can, as an example, he can drive his truck, or he can drive Hail Mary. He'll probably want to drive his truck. I can drive Hail Mary, and then I can, drive back with him. But then something that I'll ask them though, because I want to get head work done on the head. Now, initially I thought I should go after. Okay, can you please stop spamming my chat? I see your comment. I see you keep saying hi. I see it, okay? I was going to get to it, but I was still talking about my other stuff really quick, okay? Chill. Chill. I see you, Omar. Hi. And wait, we have somebody in Russia in here? And oh my god, what is with these freaking comments? You guys aren't seeing a couple of these comments that I've just been getting rid of? Also, hi, Eric from Vermont. How's it going? Nice to see you in the chat. But anyway, so yeah, getting back to it, I want to get some head work done to the 81. But I have an idea. And I don't know. So, with the sale of my 82 Mustang that's likely going to happen in March, I'm going to be getting the engine, the transmission, and pretty much any other parts that they're not going to use back. So my potential idea is that to see, okay, what would it cost for them to modify that head to the specifications that I want? No, it's not a 4-cylinder. It's a 6-cylinder, inline 6. I don't have 4-cylinder Mustangs. I've never owned a 4-cylinder Mustang. I've only owned either 6-cylinder Mustangs or I've owned a 1 V8 Mustang, actually. But yeah, like I said, they're 200 cubic inch inline 6s. The thing is, these heads are kind of rare, and it's nice that I actually get the engine back from that car because it's got a really rare bell housing pattern, which I've want like, and it's a small block 4 bell housing pattern, right? So instead of it being like the straight 6 pattern, it's a little different. So basically, what would happen in my eyes, I think, is have them modify the head, and the modifications would be just decking the head so that it will up the compression a bit. So instead of it being 8.7 to 1, it'd be 9.5 to 1. And then afterwards, I would. Sorry, brain not working here. So, like I said, up the compression and then modify the intake so that the 2-barrel carb can just bolt right on instead of using an adapter. And then at that point, I can utilize my. I can utilize my brain worker. Come on, brain. I can just utilize like my Holley carbs as an example, and instead of using the Motorcraft carbs or the Motorcraft carb, and so that should be like a little bit of an upgrade. And then plus, I'll get them to modify my long tube header to fit, because I was gonna get my my buddy Pat to modify the header, but I might just get the shop to do it because I don't know when he's gonna be able to do it. And the problem is I want the header to be on the car in short order. Like I want to get that header on the car in the, I don't know, like in the next month or two. Would be fantastic. So we'll see. Is it a hatchback or a coupe? So my 82 is a hatchback. My 81 is a coupe. And yeah, now, like I said, I'm selling it to the guy for $3,000, and I get the drivetrain, and I probably get the bulk of the interior back. So that's a win. Like alternatively, I could potentially borrow a trailer or rent a trailer to just tow the car all the way out there with my dad's truck potentially. But then that leaves my dad without a vehicle for a day. I'd rather not do that because I don't have my own truck. It'd be nice to have my own, but I don't. So we shall see. Sticker automatic. The 82 is an automatic. My 81's a stick. I put the T5 in the 81 myself. It was an automatic when I first got it back in 2019. Like this 82, like I said, it's in pretty good shape, but I call it Hail Mary because the body's hailed out. Now this guy, he just wants to turn it into a dry car. That is his whole purpose with it, which that's actually kind of cool. And I'll be able to film some of the process of it as well, because I will film it getting stripped, basically, because, well, if we're able to work on it, like as soon as I deliver it, no, it's not a C3, it's a C4. It's actually kind of rare to find the inline sixes with a C3. Most of them had C4s, and this one is a C4. It's actually the transmission that was originally in my 81, because the original transmission that was in the 82 had a problem where it didn't have reverse, and we just decided to say screw it, and we swapped the entire transmission. We also did some brake work on it and stuff like that too, so it's going to be interesting of how much stuff I'd actually get back, because like I said, I don't know how much. Did I swap injectors? It's carbureted, dude. Inline 6. Early 80s. They didn't have injection until 83. And even still, it was kind of rare to get the injection on the Mustang in 83. More common in 84 for it. But yeah, like... And it's very difficult to put injection on these things, right? But then, it's kind of interesting. Your 88 would have been injected, yes. They were all injected after 86. Every single Mustang has been injected since 86. But yeah, so this would be kind of cool to get all of that done. Like I said, the 2-barrel carb conversion proper without the adapter, deck the head, and get the long tube header to fit properly. All of that will gain me about 60 horsepower, maybe a little bit more than that. And we'll see. And then with that, it's like, hey, the car will be quite a bit faster. And that's the beauty of it, though, is that I can go to the dyno and I can prove how much power my car makes, because I work for a dyno, and it's great. I have free access to that dyno whenever I want as well. So realistically, I can get the dyno set up when the weather's a little nicer, and we could just do a dyno, like a private dyno day for myself. I can film it, and we can see how much power it makes. We could do that. Just set it up in the dyno yard that we have. So yeah, that like I said, it will be fun. Is the car original? Same wheels? No. My 81 definitely is not. The 82 has got 10 holes on it right now. Because the original wheels that were on my 82 were 13s. They were not even like 14s or 15s would have been an option. They were the base 13-inch wheels with the hubcaps. And I have the hubcaps too. I have thought about, as an example, like putting slicks on those 13s actually with the, with that, and it's great. Now, what do you mean truck flow package? I don't know what you mean by that. Or did you mean trick flow? Is what you meant to say? Like trick flow heads and intake and shit like that. Because yeah, that's the pretty typical thing to do. Do all that. Yeah, trick flow. That's what I thought. So yeah, like I'm assuming trick flow 185 heads. And you probably have the trick flow EFI intake. And I'm assuming you have like a B303 cam in it. And you have you either have the original or you have BBK shorty headers on it. And you probably have Flowmaster 40s. Oh, you're running actually the 255 heads. Okay. Okay, so yours is a little more hot rodded than the average one, because for the most part, you see one of those Fox bodies. Oh wait, yeah, because like normally when you see these Fox bodies with the 5 liters built out, it's carbon copy every single one. So like go to any car show, right? And you'll see this, and it's actually a fun game to play of how many of these Fox bodies are the same. So 5-liter cars, especially if they're EFI cars. Trick flow 185 heads, usually check mark. Yep. The intake. Yep. What do you mean you can't replace the cam? You should be able to. Could I put throttle body injection on the inline 6? Yeah, but I don't want to. Like, the thing is, I could run a Holly Sniper EFI, but God, it'd be so expensive. Would it be worth it? No. For the amount of money that would cost, I genuinely can like have no. I can't justify spending $1,000 to just put EFI on it. Like that's just dumb. Tell me a car that can beat a Mercedes T80. I don't even know what a T80 is. Like what is that? Let me look up what a Mercedes T80 is because I've never heard of it. Mercedes T80. What is that? Let's see. Oh. Okay, I know what that is. Yep. That is a six-wheeled vehicle that Hitler ordered. Actually, it's kind of a neat vehicle. But unfortunately, because of the connotations of it, yeah. But it's a six-wheeled Mercedes, and it's the first one I ever made. But now, Spartacus, why do you say you can't replace the cam? Because it makes no sense. You should be able to. You have in 88, you're gonna have valve reliefs in the pistons, and your heads, with the valves, should have all the clearance in the world to do like even just like a basic E or B series, like a letter cam, right? I understand, like, you're not gonna be able to put like a giant cam potentially in there because you're gonna have to like do custom valves and stuff like that, but or even like custom pistons maybe that are But regardless, I don't see why you can't, because the only year that is really difficult to put an aftermarket cam into is 86, because with the E6 heads and with no valve relief in the pistons, piston meet valve, it's pretty common actually. When you did it back in the day. So yeah, I would. Okay, Saber, what? You have food. I fed you not that long ago. You keep jumping down and keep going into that bag, sir. And you need to stop it. As you're stepping on my face. Sir. 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 Are you done? Just lay down. Just lay down. But yeah, so anyways, like I was mentioning though, because with everything that I want to do to like the engine that way, it'll also prepare it better for when I get the turbo actually like installed and stuff like that. Be a lot better for that. Plus, I'll have that long tube header that I'll keep around just in case if I want to stay NA, or maybe I say screw the turbo in the future. Like I put the turbo on for a bit, I might not like it, and go to a supercharger. Like see, maybe I can find somebody with like a Paxton that I can modify to fit, like a Paxton kit from back in the day to fit my inline six. Because realistically, with custom mounts and stuff like that, you can fit just about anything, right? And there's tons of room underneath that hood, so it shouldn't be a problem. Like, I can probably still run it with the power steering as well, with the supercharger, oddly enough. Because if you look at how much space there is, I might have to potentially, as an example, move the alternator a little bit, because the alternator's on that side, where the superchargers would be, because they're on the driver's side. But beyond that, I probably could still run it without a problem, and then have the supercharger right there. Boom, done, right? Or like do like a classic Eaton style. But then yeah. So with this engine like that, it'll be kind of cool to be able and do that. Because like I said, right now the car with 28 tall by 10.5 wide Cooper Cobras makes 100 wheel horsepower and 220 torque. To be honest, with all of these upgrades, it should be closer to around 300 torque and somewhere around 160 wheel. Give or take. It might be a little less than that. Like, that might be a little bit exaggerated, but even if it makes like 240 or 250 to the crank, and it makes somewhere around 140 to 150 that way, be fantastic. Or, sorry, to the wheels on both. that'd be fantastic. And the car doesn't weigh very much, 2,680 pounds, right? So you're not exactly like a super heavy car. And also, okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at some settings here real quick. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea. And like in this shop, like I said, they're moving out to Jasper in March, so it'd be interesting. You'd like to put a 5 liter, or older 50HO or the new Coyote in your 03 Accord. Your Accord has similar weight to the Fox body, 3,000 before weight reduction, and all motor 9,000 RPM V8 would make a good track car. It would be interesting actually to do that. The only tricky part is like making sure that you're gonna make it fit, because Coyote, I don't know if that'll actually fit in an 03 Accord. The 5 liter should, like it should, but it's hard to say for sure. And then also, like, converting it to a rear-wheel drive application, as an example, you would have to do that, because there's no way to really think about it, unless you did it with, like, similar to how GM did their front-wheel drive systems when they first came out, with the Turbo 425 transmissions that kind of just, like, it's a small little transmission, and it has, like, a drive shaft that goes to the front. They're kind of weird. But they did work front-wheel drive that way. It would be interesting, though, to say the least. Like, although to be honest, because that Accord, I'm assuming it has the V6 in it, which would be like an H22, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe something along those lines. Because you could end up building what the engine actually has. Because here's the thing, swapping to a 5 liter, I think, would be absolutely pointless unless you just want to do it, because of the amount of fabrication you have to do to gain a whopping. Actually, would you even gain any power? Because an 03 Accord would make somewhere around 160 to 200 ish horsepower, off the top of my head. A 5 liter high output is only making like 200 to 230, right? Actually 185 technically to 235 if memory serves. So it wouldn't make much sense to do that swap, in my opinion. It'd be kind of cool to see, though, I'm not gonna lie. But the amount of, like I said, fabrication and shit like that you'd have to do would be nightmare, right? You need a Mustang. Don't a Mustang firewall? You don't even need the firewall out of the Mustang. That would make no sense to cut the firewall out of a Mustang. To do that, what would make more sense for you to do is, so if you plopped it in there, just cut out that area and then build your trans tunnel, to make it work that way. And the only thing I'd be curious about is where the shifter is going to land, because you'll probably have to do something weird with it so that you actually get it to where it's in a comfortable position to shift. At least if you did it as a manual. If you did it as an automatic, it'd be a lot easier for that, because it doesn't matter if it's a little uncomfortable to shift it really quick. You're just putting it into drive and you're good. But that's where, like, as an example, a Coyote, I don't know if it would fit, but the 10R80 with the floppy paddles would make a lot more sense. Because that way it doesn't matter where the shifter lies, because the shifter doesn't matter. You just have the floppy paddles. But I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? But yeah, that wouldn't be my first choice. I think I would try and build out that V6 in that Accord. Because at least, if it's the V6, even if it's the 4-banger, I mean, they have the B series in those, which you can build the shit. But I understand if you don't want to do what everybody else does. I get it. Hi, I understand that. I are a girl that doesn't do anything by the norm. But then on the flip side of some of this stuff, though, is that, I don't know. Like, we'll see exactly how everything works out when it comes to that. Oh, it definitely would be. Like the 5 liter would fit a lot easier. It's just I don't. Yeah, it's still like just it's a weird swap because in the end, you're not gaining power by doing that. Unless you build up to 302. Like I said, you're going to be making about the same amount of horsepower. Torque would be higher, but you're also going to rev. You're not going to rev as high. It's just a weird move. If you're going to make a track car, and actually that motor would be heavier than what the stock V6 would be, because I think they're like aluminum. If I'm not mistaken, they might be cast iron, but I think they're aluminum. So I don't know. It just seems like not a fruitful venture. Like genuinely, if you're going to do that, make much more sense to do an LS because at the very least they make give or take 300 horsepower or more, at the minimum, right? Like 4.8 I think is like 280. 5.3 is like 320 if I remember correctly, and then you have like the 6 liters and the 6.2s that are making like 4 and 450. Out of the box. Like, I understand, like, an LS is a cliche, but an LS and an Accord wouldn't be a cliche at that point. And you could do an LS with the carburetor to make it simpler on yourself. So, it's lighter than a new Mustang by 1,000 pounds. Yeah, I get that. But I'm not... I understand. It's around 3,000 pounds. Yes. However, it just doesn't make much sense to me. Like I said, a 5-liter high output is not making much more power than what your V6 does. Like, barely any. And it's that 302 is going to weigh more. Plus, with whatever transmission you go with, is still going to weigh more than what the V6 that is stock in your Accord. Unless with the 4-banger. Because then, obviously, like, the 4-banger is going to weigh a lot less. But yeah, again, you're gonna gain weight and only gain a little bit of torque in the end. You know what I mean? Dude, you have a K24. Build out the K24. What are you doing? Like, you have the perfect engine to build out. Genuinely, why? Okay, now I'm confused. Why would you want to swap out the K series? Because you could slap a turbo on that bitch and send it. It would cost you a lot less and a lot less engineering. But also, if you wanted to, you could flip that. You could probably turn that engine to face so that it goes rear-wheel drive. And convert it to rear-wheel drive and put a turbo on it. That would be freaking amazing, actually. That'd be kind of cool. If you still want to do like a rear-wheel drive conversion. Right? That's what I would do. Screw going V8. Keep the K-Series, man. Like, genuinely, it's one of the best motors ever made. It's going to be more reliable than the freaking 5-liter, too. Not that the 5-liter is unreliable, but, like, a K-Series is, like, way up there in reliability. Also, how's it going, Cole? Sorry. You got me in the middle of, like, ranting to Spank here to not swap out his K-Series. That... I'm normally for... like doing weird swaps, but like, dude, you already have a really good engine. Like, you're not gaining hardly anything by doing that, right? Oh, for sure. Like, and hey, trust me, like, I want to build out my inline 6, and if it works out with everything that is going on with my life right now, I might be able to build out the inline 6 a little bit, make it make more power, make it be more fun, and it's going to get better fuel economy, oddly enough. It's going to be kind of cool that way, too. With the upgrades that I have planned that hopefully happen within the next couple of months, Stitch should realistically be able to get somewhere closer to 40 miles to the gallon on the highway, and she should be able to gain right around 60-ish horsepower and something around the same torque, give or take. With the head work that I want to get done and with the long tube header. So that'll be just ecstatic. And that doesn't include like any like the turbo stuff in the future, and whatever else. Because with the head work that I'd get done, that would just make it so that the turbo will actually work with my setup in the future, right? Here, I need to chuck these. Hey, Saber, you should have food. Like, I don't know why you're complaining about food, dude. Hang on a second. I might have to feed my cat here. Ugh, because I swear to God, you have food. Like, last time I looked, you had food. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go get you some food. Are you out? You're not really out. There's plenty of freaking food in your dish, bud. Here, let's do this. Like, dude. No, hey. Dude, you have food. I am not feeding you. Like, stop freaking being like this, dude. Like, you want water? So I can give you water? Admittedly, this is a little getting empty. I don't know what you're doing, dude. What? You're being annoying, Saber. Alright. What? Oh, God. Sorry. My kitty has been annoying me for most of the night, morning, evening. Well, here's the thing. So, okay, you want to make an engine that will make good power a little over 6,000. That K series, like, it's a K24. You can do it with a turbo, and you can push it to 400 horsepower, and I promise you, it will last a decent amount of power, like, a decent amount of time. Because the K series are still, like, built really well. But also, you could maybe do, like, an NA build as well. If you really wanted to. Like, you could probably NA build a K series with your budget for, and get it to like 250, 300 horsepower, or maybe even more. And then it opens you up to boost in the future. Because here's the thing: you turbo that thing, and it'll still be very reliable. Like, again, it's a K24, dude. They people push those things to like 1,000 horsepower without having too many issues either. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility to, like, and 400 horsepower in a car like that would be a lot. Even 300. Like, even if you just like turboed it and just doubled your stock output. Because right now you make 160. If you doubled that with 320 in your Accord, the thing would fly. I mean, that thing would be insane. And Saber might want Red Bull to have wings. Possibly. I don't know. That'd be funny. Also, hey, Dusty Country Garage. How goes it, dude? Nice to see you on this very early morning, because I haven't been to bed yet. But, yeah, because I tried to do a live earlier after my TikTok live, and then that went down the toilet because of people wanting to be racist. So that was fun. And then I ended up, watching a little bit of some TV and stuff. Or I should say not TV, but YouTube. And then I hop back in here again. So, I mean, I wouldn't advise running it, at that much RPM all day long, because it will blow up. Where a Honda, I'm sorry, like the Honda motor, you can rev out higher than that, but and still be reliable. Like, that 5-liter isn't going to be near as reliable as what that K series will, especially with revving out like that. I promise you. I promise you. I don't watch NASCAR, to be honest. I NASCAR to me doesn't excite me because it's all the exact same car. You know, get it back to proper stock car racing where it's like different cars and shit like that. I'd be more interested in that, but eh, there's not much there that like entices me at all. Um, so yeah, there's that. But anyways, so like I said, your K series, you should look into what your K series is actually capable of and what it could be reliable with to do what you want to do. Because I promise you, it's a K24. You can spend a little bit of money. Like the money you'd spend on trying to 5-liter swap that car, you'd be better off to just build out the K series, man. Like I said, if you want to turn it rear-wheel drive, you can. Because I don't think that 5-liter would fit and still stay front-wheel drive. I seriously doubt it. So again, it's kind of weird, right? Thinking about it, like again, the K series makes a lot more sense, And like you mentioned that you want to turn high RPMs. Okay, well, Hondas are known to just bang them off the limiter and love it. You know, you bang a Honda off the limiter and they go, "Please, can I have some more? Like, please." You know, it's just one of those things, right? That whenever I see that stuff, it's just yeah. But so yeah, with everything that way, and then what's cool, so you guys will also see some videos come out. Now, the thing is, I want to try and film more videos to come out soon. I just don't know when it's really gonna work out for me. So what I have in mind though for future content is there is like I said, this shop is opening up in Jasper. I'm going to tour their shop and I'm going to um film everything in there and film what they can do. Um you know, and this shop, because again, the guy found me on one of my TikTok lives actually, and he was interested in buying my '82 Mustang, and then he was also interested in me like coming out to the shop and checking out their facilities, and I would love to do that, you know, and because the benefit is for me, I get out there, I get some content, and I can see their builds, whatever else, do videos on some of their builds, and then get some work done on my own car while I'm there. Then on the flip side, excuse me, on the flip side of that is, I can also like have this relationship with the shop, which I've always wanted to do, because I don't really have like a super good relationship with shops. You know, like sure there is Lakeview Automotive in Calgary that the only time I've been there they treated me really well, but they don't cater to what I exactly want to do. So, and I'd like to be a little bit involved with some of the build process in that regard. And I'd love to, like, and they're not a machine shop. So, you know, that throws them out the window. Um, you know, I could find other shops as well, but again, it's just not the same. So, and this shop, the only shitty part is like, it's Jasper. It's gonna be like a 5-hour drive, which is gonna be brutal. Brutal. Oh, that video. So, okay, that was the estate, yeah, the estate sale video, right? Because technically, like, it's junkyard, but not. And there was like 6 or 7 Fox bodies in that yard. I want to say that's probably the one you were referring to. But, and yeah, and I ended up buying, you know, I bought Buzz out of there. I wanted to buy more. Like, the one I really wanted out of there, because there's all these different vehicles there, right? And a lot of different Fox bodies and whatever else. But the car I was most interested in, I just didn't have the money for it. There was that Iraqi taxi. You know, Buick 3.8, 3-speed manual on the floor, and I would do the best sleeper build ever with that car. You know, because again, it's it's a 4-door. Um, you know, like what the Iraqi tactics were was a 4-door Malibu that the Canadian Canadian GM made for the Iraqi government. And the thing is, at the time, that was under actually Saddam Hussein's rule, um, and the cars just turned out to be not very reliable, and the order was canceled after only about 1,500 were delivered. So there was, I think, there was a total order of about 250,000 of these cars, but in reality, only like 10,000 of them were ever built. And so what they ended up doing was selling them at a deep discount to the Canadian public, and you know, boom, done, right? Now, because they were cool, because like I said, it's a Buick 3.8 V6. It's not like the really good one. It is still like a sort of 70s Buick 3.8, so you know, it's not like a turbo or anything like that. But then it has this 3-speed Saginaw transmission, and it's not a 3 on the tree. It's actually on the floor. So I thought about it. I'm like, God, how cool would that thing be? You take out that stock 3.8, you put in like a Regal T-Type or like Grand National, you know, that way, motor. And then the transmission, well, it's already a manual, so put in like a T56 manual in behind that. Make it make like 400 horsepower and just make it be like sort of a reliable driver that you can have a lot of fun with, and bang gears and just be the best sleeper around. You know, that's what I would want to do with it. I've always wanted one of those to make a sleeper because I've always wanted to build a sleeper, and that would be the perfect way to do it. Because as soon as you put a V8 in it and it starts, you know, like having a deep exhaust note and everything, it's just not really going to be a sleeper much, right? What are you talking about? FBI with all the Buick Grand National GNX they bought? I don't recall them buying any GNXs. After all, there was only 507 GNXs ever built. So, and they're all accounted for. So there's that. Ah, and also, happy Valentine's Day. And it's also the 5-year anniversary of Stitch being on the road, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. That did happen. Um, it's pretty crazy. And like I said, I'd love to get my hands on one of those. And this car was actually in pretty good shape. And I did want to inquire about it at the time, but I just didn't. And then by the time I could have inquired about, or that I inquired about it, it was already sold. I'm just like, oh man. Because otherwise, yeah, I would have, I would have played around with that. Hey, Rascal, come here. Hi, buddy. Unknown amount of GNX? I don't recall that. Like, hang on. Let's do some internet searching. Hey, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good. You know, just sitting here, vibing, hanging out. Oh yeah, like I said, there's still a bunch of them around. Although they are getting a little difficult to find, to be honest. But, because yeah, you mentioned, let's say, um, yeah, they said, did GM really sell specially equipped Buick Grand Nationals to the FBI? And let's see. Okay, so yeah, actually, they did order Grand Nationals, actually. I never heard of this. And the thing is, though, they weren't GNXs. These were just Grand Nationals, but they were specialty equipped, though. And technically, they didn't order Grand Nationals. They actually ordered Regal T-Types with V-rated tires and a prom chip, so it raised the top speed limit on the cars. T-Types and Grand Nationals came with H-rated tires, so GM ordered the optional V-rated tires. Then the respective agency could order prom that would raise the limit. This was a popular upgrade if you could find a dealer that was able to do the chip. GM used these chips in the 94 to 96 Impala SS. They had 17-inch rims, since most of the tires had a V rating. They were afraid that they would be accountable if owners installed inferior tires and have incidents as well. The full-size trucks today are governed to the same top speed, whether they have the base V6 or the 420 horsepower motor for that reason. This is interesting. Like I said, I'm reading it off of an article from Hemmings. Let's see. And then they said the only V-rated tires came on the GNX. They were not optional on T-Types or Grand Nationals. Urban legend is that some GNXs were used by the FBI. I've heard of other agencies using T-Types or turbo models, but these comments on sharing chips is wrong. 94 to 96 Impalas didn't use a chip. They were not EEPROM ECUs, and even if they were, even if they wouldn't use the same ignition timing, fuel injector pulse width, etc., as they were completely different engines. The whole idea of those two cars being as chipped is ridiculous. Top speed was governed on the Buicks because of aero, generating lift at high speeds, leading to instability, not because of the tires, if the aero enabled higher speed than GM would have allowed. Yeah, so it looks like they were Regal T's. T-Types much. It doesn't say. Because like at the end of this article, it does say, you know, were they GNX's Grand Nationals or well-optioned Turbo T's? Knowing the government, they would have been Turbo T's. And then they just would have had like higher rated tires potentially. That the GNX had. That's about it. To my guess. Let's see. The most cited proof of the FBI ran Turbo Buicks is the story of Buddy Mitchell's Grand National. As told by Code 3 Garage and repeated many times elsewhere, Mitchell reportedly wandered into Feldbeck Motors in Troy, Missouri, and spotted an unusual Grand National with a white pinstripe, a 145 mile an hour speedometer instead of the stock 85 mile an hour speedometer. The lettering GN 132 applied fleet style in vinyl in the trunk lid, and several option codes not listed in the standard literature. Buddy began making phone calls to see if they could find out about the car, and was told the FBI may have ordered some Grand Nationals from Buick and didn't pick them all up. Those not purchased by the FBI found their way to dealers that then sold the cars. So again, that's not really too much to go off of. There. This is interesting. Also, I see a Wild Bean in my chat. This is kind of cool. Yeah, may have isn't exactly confirmation. Neither are pinstripe and vinyl lettering, but the story was at least good enough to get GMP to build a fact or fiction diecast version of the car. Perhaps the FBI didn't run Grand Nationals, though. Kerbin, in his Turbo Regal guide, relayed a story that claimed FBI ran less conspicuous but equally as fast cars. Let's see. During our research for this chapter, we heard from one of our customers, Roy Cavan, who is an FBI agent. He remembers that their division in Cleveland, Ohio, took delivery of two 86 Regal T-Types in June of 86. The one was assigned as a deep metallic blue and a matching blue interior. What made this vehicle unusual that it had the shifter on the column, bench seats, crank windows, and an AM/FM stereo with a fixed antenna. It was equipped with the wigwag headlights and electric siren. A shotgun rack was mounted in the ceiling just to the rear of the front seats. Huh, okay. In his understanding, during 86 to 87, the FBI took delivery of approximately 80 Turbo Regals in various colors. He recalled a high pursuit between Cleveland and Buffalo involving several bank robbers 2 days after he was assigned the turbo car. The car, he says, handled well, but in curves or changing lanes, there was a lot of sway. The Regal T-Type stayed in the service of the FBI until late fall of 88 and had approximately 125,000 miles on it. At 55,000 miles, the turbo needed to be replaced. Both T-Types were sold at GSA auction for under $3,000 each. Wow. That is very interesting. Now, they actually have pictures of this Regal T-Type that was like a goldish brown in color. It has like a smashed-in front end in these pictures. And now, in these pictures, they're not extremely old. Because 80s cameras would have like that weird sort of like yellowish filter to them that all pictures had back in the day, like a yellowish brown filter, right? Let's see. They say that Code 3 Garage has a story about an 86 Regal T-Type used by the FBI. As the story goes, the Chestnut Brown was assigned to California-based agent and then wrecked during a chase on the Golden Gate Bridge. Sold off via government auction to another FBI agent, with that agent when he was transferred to Iowa, and was later repaired and sold to a Turbo Buick fan who only became interested in it after noticing the larger-than-normal rear anti-sway bar installed in the car. Note that neither of these T-Types seem to have any non-stock lettering or striping, and the brown one at least has an 85-mile-an-hour speedometer. That said, the brown one may have been the same one Kerbin reported seeing with the weapons holster sewn into the headliner. Without any further proof, however, the above stories are difficult to verify. We've also seen stories about the Drug Enforcement Administration using Turbo Buicks to chase down drug traffickers in exotic cars between Miami and New York City, and stories about either the DEA or the FBI employing GNXs, as if the FBI Grand Nationals weren't enough of the fancy for a screenwriter. That's curious. So yeah, they can't confirm nor deny if they actually really use these properly, according to that story. So that's kind of weird. But yeah. And somebody just says disgusting. Disgusting what? Like, what? Are you trying to call me disgusting? Because I'm not, and you can go fuck yourself if that's the case. But if not, then I don't know what you're talking about. Unless if you're saying disgusting because I'm talking about like FBI and stuff like that using Grand Nationals, you know, or Regal T-Types, or potentially even GNXs. Like, yeah, and that's the thing, like, because the Grand National was obviously like the king shit back in the day. It was the top dog. Like, obviously the GNX was like the top dog throughout the 80s, but the Grand National itself was beating up on, like, you know, Ferrari Testarossas, and it was beating up on like Countachs and stuff like that, which is weird because those cars had like 400 horsepower, but these cars only had around 300. Like, they were rated at like 245, but in reality they made more than that. They made more. They were closer to that 320 mark, but kind of cool. Yes, they did use, the Air Force did use Fox Body Mustangs, and then, interestingly, and I don't know if you know about this, Cole, but the EPA actually used Superbirds to chase down planes and record what kind of emissions they were putting out. So that was kind of neat, actually. They used there was like 2 or 3 Superbirds that they used. So that was kind of an interesting thing, and it's not the first time, like, obviously hearing of the government using specialty cars for stuff. At all. Yeah, I mean, depending. Like, you know, it's funny that you say that, but all cars that were made throughout the 80s that were released in North America would do 70 kilometers an hour in that amount of time. No, not Superbike, Superbird. B-I-R-D. A 1970 Plymouth Superbird. Did I say Dodge? I meant to say Plymouth. Sorry, I'm really fucking tired. I haven't gone to bed yet. It's almost 5 a.m. here, so you'll have to excuse me if I misspoke. But yeah, you know, because even like, I mean, my 82 Mustang will do, you know, 100 kilometers an hour in a lot less time than that. Where you say 3 miles on a flat road, I mean, I can get, you know, Hail Mary to faster speeds than that. But yeah, and I meant to say Plymouth, not Dodge. So, or unless if I did say, or unless if that was you that said Dodge and I never said Dodge. I don't know what I said. It's fine. Like I said, I'm tired. But yeah. So that was a curious story. Like I said, I had no idea about this potential FBI thing. Interesting. Superbike both goofed. Exactly, right? Hey, it happens. It happens. But honestly, like there are some really cool stories of stuff like that happening. And you know, it's kind of like lost to history for the most part because I only learned about the Superbird thing after that Superbird got sold at Barrett Jackson a few years back. So it was pretty neat to see it there, and yeah. Now, I'm just thinking about stuff. All I'm doing is thinking. Nothing but a thinking. Nothing but a thinking. I'm trying to debate of like what videos I still want to do here on YouTube or anything like that. I don't know if you guys have any ideas of what I should do. You know, that it's not going to cost me a lot of money or anything like that because I don't have a lot of money, especially right now where I don't have a fucking job. Because I got fired from my last job. It sucks. I need to see if I can get it back at some point, maybe. But, because it's a really decent gig. But we'll see. So here's the thing. A Ford Tempo is the first car. You know they actually had a cool version of the Tempo? Now you might think Ford Tempo is cool. Ew, how's that possible to make it cool? Well, the thing is, they made a stick shift all-wheel drive coupe of a Ford Tempo, so it's kind of cool actually. Florida would do 70 kilometers an hour. That means it had problems. That doesn't mean it was actually they were not that slow from the factory. They would go faster than that. I know that. Well, I mean, with the stock K24 Accord, you might have an issue trying to escape that way. Might. But yeah, honestly though, I'm yeah, I don't know. Just a little tired. And I'm trying to think of, like I said, of like videos that I want to do here in the future because I know, like, obviously I want to get out of Jasper to this new shop and check them out and see if they'll do the, you know, the sort of things that I would like them to do on the head, and then get that all done and have them modify the header for me, and then have them hook it up to the exhaust on Stitch, because it'd be a little interesting that way. But I don't think they're Canadian only. I'm pretty sure you can get them in the States too. You know. Yeah, Arden, there was something definitely wrong with that Tempo because they were faster than that. They weren't exactly fast cars, but they were faster than that. Because they still didn't weigh very much. Like, they weighed around the weight of a Fox body Mustang with, you know, 130-ish horsepower. You know? But yeah, like, because you can look up those all-wheel drive Tempos. I've found a couple of them every now and then, and I've kind of wanted to pick one up. But the problem is, so any vehicle that I grab right now, I need to think about it for content and what I can do with it. Because what the hell am I going to do with an all-wheel drive freaking Tempo? Like, there's nothing that I can do with one, right? Just nothing. And I don't know why you're mentioning that, Rain Man, but okay. Sure. Because, yeah, here's an interesting thing. So, when I sell Hail Mary, because like I said, I'll probably end up buying another car. What do y'all want to see me potentially get and have as a project? Do you want me to buy a snowman? No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna say that it's like, do you want to build a snowman? Do you want me to like get a truck as an example? Because I do have one in mind. Do you want me to get a, like I said, a Japanese car maybe? Anything I get is gonna be a beater though, let's be honest. I'm not gonna be getting like the most mint condition examples of vehicles typically. Hail Mary is a rare exception for that. But then I'm selling that car, which is sad. Because yeah, like admittedly, I could use truck, and I know where there's a good truck. It just needs I need to swap out the carburetor, then it'll be good. Mm. And those trucks are fantastic. My dad had that. So the thing is, the vehicle that I learned to drive stick on was my dad's 1999 or 98, maybe the 98 Dodge Ram 1500 single cab long box, 2-wheel drive, NV 3500 manual. You know, that thing was awesome. I loved that truck. I should have bought it off my dad. I really should have, because I could have bought it for like stupid cheap. But I decided, no, I'm gonna sell it. Why? But I still have it to this day. I really would. But see, I'm not one to run away from cops. I don't think it's a good idea to do so, but teach their own, I suppose. Now, a turbo coupe, interestingly, it's not an 87, it's an 85 turbo coupe that's on Marketplace right now. It's been there for a while. They want $2,000 for it, but do I want to pay $2,000 for it? I do. I'd really only want to pay about $1,000 for it, you know. But we shall see. Because that could be one. I've always wanted a 4-eyed bird. To be honest, I think they'd be cool. I think that was like the peak of the Thunderbird, in my opinion, for styling wise. I've also always wanted to, even though that's like a turbo, 4-banger, it is a T5 as well, which is cool. But yeah. Stuck paying for easy brake auto cars for the 17 years. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. A lot of vehicles nowadays are just expensive for no reason. There's zero reason why vehicles should be as expensive as they are, but they do. They are. And it's sad. It's very sad. But yeah, it's one of these deals. Like I said, I do want to replace, like I said, Hail Mary with something else, but like I might also shoot my shot with my buddy to see, hey, can I buy the Capri off you that I traded you years ago? And can I also get your truck off you? Like I said, just shoot my shot and see if I can do it. Because otherwise I don't know what I'm gonna do. That way. Because I wanna, like I said, the Capri, buying that would the only reason why I would buy that is because it has really good body panels on it, and I could do all the stuff that I've wanted to do to Stitch. Now, the front end that's currently on the car would go away, but I wouldn't chuck it out. I would strip it of all of its parts. It sounds funny to say that. But, so, the headlight covers, I'd keep those. And the lower valance, I'd keep that. And I'd yeet the rest of it. Then I would put that stuff on the Capri front end. And that'd be way cooler. You know? Oh, I know the 87 and the 88 did have the Aero front end. Yeah, I know that. But I prefer the 4i ones. That's all. Like I said, the 4i I think was peak styling for the Thunderbird when it comes to the Fox Buddy birds, anyways. And what about a Zephyr or a Fairmont? I mean, I could be interested in one of those, but I don't know. To me, they're just a very boring car. And it's finding one that isn't completely rotted out, because yes, there is technically a 82 or 83 automatic coupe that is for sale on Marketplace right now. Now it's a rock box though. They want $800 for it, and it's a straight six car too. So that would have that unique weird bell housing pattern. You know, that's the 302 bell housing pattern on that inline six. But like, I wouldn't be opposed to owning a Fairmont. It's just, I don't know. I don't think I'd be excited enough for a Fairmont because, like I said, they're just a boring car. Like, if I'm gonna own something, I want it to be like kind of maybe a little nicer than that. Like I said, the T-Bird would be an interesting prospect. Now, if I could pry that T-Bird out of Mike's hands without paying through the nose for it, I would. But I can't afford it. Right? Like, I can't do it. Because otherwise, yeah, you bet your ass that T-Bird would be in my name. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Nice. Oh yeah, no. That would be... That's actually kind of funny. But yeah, I mean... A 4-banger Mustang versus the 96 Cutlass. Yeah, that Cutlass will smoke it, even without the nitrous. 4-banger Mustangs are not fast. They're not. Do I like mid-80s Cougar Fox chassis 4i cars? Oh yeah, I do. I love those. They're not the best looking cars on the planet for the Cougars, but I would potentially own one of those. And those are cheap too. Like, you can get a running driving one of those for like $2,000. You know, or less. There's actually one, there was an XR7 that I saw. It wasn't a 4i one though. It was actually an Aero XR7, so it would have the 5-liter in it for like $2,500. It's like, why do people not like these cars? It's so bizarre, right? Your 96 Cutlass without nitrous was literally only a bumper behind a Crown Vic on the 8th mile. That's interesting. Not that Crown Vic was a fast car either, but, you know, like a 96 Cutlass with a 3.1 probably went pretty decent. I mean, I know that the Lumina did. Like, we had, if you guys remember, if you go back a little bit on the channel, this was last year, I think. Was this last year or 2 years ago? Maybe 2 years ago. We had a 91 Lumina Euro. We lost our ass in that car, unfortunately. But it happens when it doesn't have heat. We couldn't get it back. So, didn't want to replace the heater core. So, ended up selling that thing basically for a push. Like, I think we lost $100 on it. So, oh well. It is what it is. Wait, what? What do you mean not easy buying a truck when you don't know any French? What are you talking about? You don't need to know French to buy a truck. That's confusion. Much confusion. Oh, you have an 84 Cougar. It needs an engine rebuild. What motor's in it? And also, I'm trying to remember, you're not... I'm trying to remember, Cole, are you here in Alberta or no? Because I can't remember. Because not gonna lie, I mean, I'd be open to doing an engine swap. It is a 5-liter. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I could see that, and, you know, oddly enough, that Actually, your times are going to be about what Stitch would run, oddly enough. The guy was a big Frenchman. Oh, okay. Oh, the guy that was selling that truck, you mean? Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Ah, rip. Because I was gonna say, like, if you were here in Alberta, I mean, I'd be interested in that car, potentially. But you're not, so rip-a-roonies to that idea. Because I would like to showcase potentially the weirder Fox bodies, like the Cougars and the Thunderbirds and the Mark 7s. Because here's another thing that I've thought about, too. Again, this would be a weird thing to do. Weird decisions are made when you're, not thinking straight. But I could buy the Mark 7 back that I owned. Yeet the original diesel out of it. Put in a 5-liter in that car. And then have a beater Mark 7 with a 5-liter in it. So, I don't know. We shall see with that. See, that's surprising, because like I haven't heard much good on those 3.1s. Like, I've heard they can be problematic, but at times. Not surprising you grenaded the tranny, though. That doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, because that could be an option, too. Like, I could see if I threw, as an example, if I threw, like, $1,600 to my buddy and said, hey, I will buy your Mark 7, your Capri, and your truck. It gets you money that, and it clears out 3 spots out in the field. Just saying. Could do that. But we shall see. Because, yeah, and then I could get the Lincoln running, put a 5-liter in it, enjoy it for a bit, flip that, get the parts I need off the Capri, flip that. Because the Capri's not going to be worth much by the time I'm done with it. But, still, I could get a couple bucks from that way. And then I have a truck. Win. And the truck is cool. Because it's a 77. 76 or 77. Ford F-250. 3/4. So it's 3/4 time. 6. 4-speed manual, 2-wheel drive. Still cab long box. It's a beater of a truck. Like, he bought it for $850 at auction, and I told him, like, I'd give him $1,000 for it. I've offered him $1,000 a few times for it, but he doesn't want to go for it for some reason. Now, he has said that, well, do you have a carburetor for it? Because, admittedly, I know where I can get a carb for it. See, I don't have a Capri. Like, I don't have one. Like I said, if I could pry that Capri out of my buddy's hands, that's just a parts car. That Capri is nothing but a parts car. You would not want the shell of that car. I promise you that, even when I'm done with it. Because it's not worth it. The thing is rotted right the fuck out underneath. It's just a parts car. It's worth like $500 maybe in parts. Yeah, I've had a couple. But I sold them both last year. I haven't owned a Capri in months. Like, the last Capri I sold was like in September? Maybe October? Something like that. Again, that was Buzz. And if you saw my last, one of my last videos, because I haven't put up much content lately, when I went ice drifting with my buddy. Well, the thing is, he brought Buzz, which is my old Capri. Now, it's interesting, because he's actually moving to Saskatchewan, and he might trade the Capri for a Merkur XR4 Ti. That's actually built out, and apparently makes like over 300 horsepower. So that would be interesting. And like he's moving out to Saskatchewan, like middle of fucking nowhere, Saskatchewan. It's like no wonder he's getting the price so cheap for the property. But I'm like bro, I don't have very many Edmonton peeps, so you're gonna be gone, you bastard. I mean, I have some, but now here's the thing: I wouldn't want a base model V8. I'd want a high output. The only reason why it's because the base ones I had a base one, and it was a slow dog. Like Stitch would smoke Lilo. Because do you remember I had the 5 liter in Lilo, my '86 convertible for a bit? When I still owned that car was so slow with a V8. Like I genuinely think that the V6 was faster. Because the second motor we swapped in was a non-high output. Now, with adjustments and with swapping some other parts and whatever else, we actually got that thing to make about 180 wheel horsepower, which is pretty good, surprisingly, for a non-high output. But that's with like putting 93 octane in it, bumping up the timing quite a bit, messing around with the like the carb a bit more and making it just better. You know, we managed to get it. I think it was like 182 wheel horsepower. I think is what it made. But and that's with like deleted emissions and all that stuff. But yeah, the thing is, Stitch I believe is faster than Lilo even still to this point. I think Stitch would outrun Lilo, but I don't know until I actually line the two cars up next to each other. Because that's one thing I want to. I want to like do a sort of video on that. If I can. Like, I would love to, like, get Keith to get in the convertible, me and Stitch, we launch the cars, and we see which one's faster. Because I'm pretty sure Stitch is faster right now, which is funny, because the Stitch makes no power. But yet, weighs a hell of a lot less. It makes a big difference. So, I don't know. We shall see. Like I said, I want to do that. I want to like I don't know what I like I said what I really want to do with cars in the future because like I said I have the options of like doing that stuff with Keith and then I would make a little bit of money by the time I'm done and have a truck out of the deal. Wouldn't be so bad. Um but I don't know. And then yeah, then eventually the T-Bird will be gone, cuz I'll make some money off of that cuz I am getting a decent commission off that car. So we'll have to see. I'll have to see. But before that happens, though, I need to finish the movie that it's in before I can sell it. And that's a shitty part because I think what's gonna happen is as soon as it's done being in the movie, I think it's going to be go directly to an auction, and see what it will realize at the auction because it could go stupid. So and it's a 78. It's a Diamond Jubilee edition, which is cool. So it's got like almost option. It's just got manual windows though, and it doesn't have the moonroof, but it's got everything else. So it's a pretty cool car, and I really like it. Like I'd love to own that car. And because the thing is, if I owned it, I would hot rod the 400 a bit, and then I would swap all those air shocks for traditional style shocks, and I'd just drive it. Just enjoy it. 79 LTD with 180 horsepower fire that would fly. It didn't have the factory T something. Yeah, it didn't have the factory 223 or rear gear. Yeah. That car, I don't know what rear gear it has in it. I haven't looked at the tag to see what it is. But that car is fun with 400 in it. It goes pretty good for what it is. Like I said, it's not fast, but it's fun. Yeah, probably. It would have been like a 327 or like a 332, I believe, is some of the options for the rear end. Like, and it's interesting because like the Diamond Jubilees, they can be worth more. But in my eyes, I don't see why. Because yes, they are rarer technically, but they're not that rare you know. So, I don't know. Um, yeah, so like I said, we will see with that car. Like it should be a pretty good one. Um, and I very much enjoy driving that car around. Like it is a lovely car. There's hardly a blemish on it. Like the bodywork has some blemishes on it. Don't get me wrong. It's got like some rock chips and there's a couple of little dings and whatever else. But beyond that, it's damn near immaculate. And and like even if Mike says like, "Hey, I actually want to keep that car. Can I grab it back?" And be like, "Yeah, sure, that's not a problem." You know, uh, it's been lovely to have it under my tutelage. Um, and it's a very lovely car. Like there's not much that's really wrong with it. You know, the the high idle is kind of weird on it. Try to get that adjusted down a bit. And whenever you have it in park, like it shoots up to like 1500 RPM, and then when you have it in drive, it comes down to like 800. It's the weirdest thing. But yeah, exactly. Like here's the thing: you want rare? I've owned rare. Like I've owned some of the biggest unicorns on the planet that were worth bupkis. Case in point, that Lincoln Mark 7 that I bought for $350. You guys remember that? I made one video on it and then I got rid of it. you know? Um and because that was a factory BMW diesel, right? Like it was cool. But they didn't sell very well. They sold I think it was 1,500. No, it's 1,537. Of those 1,537, about 200 came to Canada. Or maybe it was 1,500, and then 200 came to Canada, the rest were in the States. So that's like a very rare car up here. Is it worth anything? God, no. Fully restored, that car might be worth 10 grand. Maybe. But you'd spend 50 grand restoring it. Not worth it. Right? Oh, yeah, like the thing is, C3 Corvettes, the only ones that have any value, to be honest, past like 20 grand, is, and this is like make edition examples as an example. The anniversary editions in 78, are worth money. And then the only other C3s that are worth money are the big block cars or the early ones. That's about it. The rest of them, they don't have a lot of value. Oh yeah, well like that's the thing. They're with an automatic, they are designed that way because it's with the kickdown. That you put it in park and then it ups the RPM of it. They're designed that way. But as an example, like with Hail Mary, the kickdown isn't set up in that car at all. So when you put it in park, the revs don't go higher. Also, the cooled idle doesn't work on that carburetor either. So there's that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, if this all works out with selling the car, like selling Hail Mary to that guy, getting all those parts back, and then this is the cool part. So I don't know what all he'd want to keep, and that'd be something that when I get there, I'd have to talk to him about. Is what he would potentially want to keep on it, what he wants to get rid of. Because like if he wants to, depending on how far he wants to strip it down, right? I don't know. Yeah, so here's the thing, Cole. In 1984, there was 1,500 Lincoln Mark 7s with a BMW straight six diesel that was turbocharged from the factory. It was an M21 diesel. They were essentially a diesel version of the gasoline M11 engine. They didn't produce a lot of power, and the one that I bought, it was gonna be a can of worms to put it back together, and that's why I decided to say, fuck it, I am not doing this. Just no. I sold it to my buddy as a parts car, and then he ended up selling his Mark 7, which is sad. because that car was so cool. I would have bought that car too if I had the money. Like genuinely, it was such a nice car. Because I was trying to save up for it too, and then ended up selling it. I was like, "Fuck, man, I couldn't get enough money for it." But oh well. Because it's the gold one. Oddly enough, it's actually been on my channel before. But yes, the Continental had it for I think it was 2 years, where the Mark 7 only had it for one. So it's kind of interesting that way. But then no other Ford models had that BMW straight six diesel. It's kind of a weird choice. Like you would have expected that not only the Lincoln to have that, but like maybe the Mustang or the Capri as an option. You know, it wouldn't have sold very well, but you would have thought more than just two Lincoln models to have it, which was the only models that Lincoln made back then. To be fair, because yeah, like the Versailles and stuff like that wasn't out yet. So, I mean, because I don't know, like I would be interested in getting, like I said, a Mark 7. I've always really wanted one. I've always really liked them. And I could do like some neat stuff with it. You know, I could really enjoy a Mark 7. And just chill and have fun with it. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. But honestly, it is it's 5:30. You know, I think I am just going to call it here. It's super late. I haven't been to sleep yet. So I am going to just hell, I might even just fall asleep in the chair here. I might not even go to bed. I might just go, yep, no, peace out right here. So anyways, appreciate you all tuning in. It was a good live, this one. You know, the one earlier was bad. This one's good. And you guys will know it is not daylight out. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's not daylight out. But yeah, case in point, like you say, hey, it's daylight out. No, it's dark. See, it's all dark. So yeah. Anyways, hope you all have a fantabulous time. And yeah, I'm gonna end the, you know, fuck. Yeah, I'm going to end the live. So anyways, love you all, and I will check out stuff. Yeah, my brain is shutting down. Anyways, I'm gonna end it. Anyways, take care. Love you all, and I will catch you later. Bye.